Thanksgiving, the time of family, comfort, and gratitude. A day painted in golden light, where we gather around warm meals and remember what we're thankful for. But beneath the smiles, the parades, and the traditions, lies a history far darker than most of us were ever taught. Because Thanksgiving, the story we celebrate, isn't the full story at all. It's a story written in blood, loss, and silence. Centuries ago, long before the holiday we know today, the land we call America belonged to thriving native civilizations, rich in culture, language, and life. But when European settlers arrived on the shores of Plymouth Rock in 1620, a collision began that would forever change the course of history. We're told of a friendly feast, pilgrims and native people coming together in peace. But behind that single meal lies a legacy of disease, betrayal, and war. Historians now reveal that by the time the pilgrims arrived, nearly 90% of the native population in New England had already died from European diseases carried by explorers who came before. Entire villages were wiped out before they even saw a European face. When the surviving Wampanoag tribe first met the settlers, they didn't see opportunity, they saw ghosts walking on cursed land. Still, they offered help. They taught the newcomers how to plant, fish, and survive through the brutal winter. And in the fall of 1621, they joined in what would later become known as the First Thanksgiving, a harvest celebration that lasted 3 days. But it was never called Thanksgiving. Not yet. That name would come years later, after blood had already been spilled. Because in 1637, after a brutal conflict known as the Pequot Massacre, where hundreds of native men, women, and children were burned alive by English settlers, Governor John Winthrop declared a Thanksgiving Day. But not for peace. For victory. A day of gratitude for the destruction of an entire tribe. That was the first official Thanksgiving, not the story told in classrooms, but a celebration of conquest. And yet, that dark truth faded with time. The myth replaced the memory. The feast replaced the fire. Even today, some native communities mark Thanksgiving as a national day of mourning, standing in silence where the Wampanoag once stood, on the same soil where history was rewritten. It's not just a correction of facts. It's a reminder that gratitude and grief can exist side by side. But Thanksgiving's mysteries go beyond history. In small towns across America, strange legends surround this holiday. Stories of haunted harvests, ghostly pilgrims wandering ancient fields, and families who vanish without explanation after Thanksgiving dinner. One Massachusetts farmhouse still reports unexplained whispers every year near late November. Locals say it's built on the ashes of an early colonial settlement lost to fire on a Thanksgiving night long forgotten. And in Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the holiday, visitors claim to see faint lights flickering near Burial Hill, where both settlers and Wampanoag were laid to rest. Some say it's just the wind. Others swear it's the souls of those who never made peace. Even the iconic turkey has symbolic weight. In early cultures, it represented sacrifice and rebirth, the endless cycle of giving and taking. Perhaps that's what Thanksgiving truly is, a reflection of humanity's endless contradiction, kindness and cruelty, abundance and loss, gratitude and guilt. Every November, as we sit around the table, we honor a tradition built on two truths: the warmth we feel today, and the cold cost that made it possible centuries ago. Maybe, in remembering both, we find a deeper kind of gratitude. Not for what we gained, but for what we lost, and what we still must learn. So as you carve the turkey, and laughter fills the room, listen closely. Because history still whispers through the walls, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving, both light and shadow, is still with us.